Hey peeps, welcome to my channel, welcome to my studio, and welcome to this very simple tutorial. Now, what you see before you are actually domes. And the domes are put together, and because they are flat on the bottom, you have the illusion that these are beads, like larger beads. But they're actually two domes that we stuck together. How about that? Simple enough to do. This is a great thing to do if you happen to have a lot of small bits of color, as I do. And it's a great way to use them up. So, I think it's time to make this. I really like it. Little color blocked, hollow, domed beads. Lightweight and fun. Let's start. Okay, first things first. What do we need? Ooh, as I said, you're going to need bits of clay. Bits of clay. If you're like me at all, then you might have this kind of thing happening in your studio. Greens, reds and a bit of magenta, blues and violets. Ta-ta. Now, these are things that I've used in other projects, and sometimes I have a little left, sometimes I have a lot, but if it's good usable color, it ends up in these boxes. And then I have tons of these little bits of color that need to find some kind of home. And this is a perfect project for just those things. So you're going to need clay. Now, I made this multicolored, but certainly you could choose your colors. You can make black and white. Talk about this later. Black and white. You could do it all in metallics. Gold, copper, silver. It just doesn't end, the things you can do, because it's a simple process. Now, having said that, even though it's a simple process, it's going to take you a lot of time to make this many of these. Let's count them. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27 beads. But each bead is made of 2 domes, okay? So multiply that times 2. That's what you're going to need to make a necklace this long. Now, if you make it longer, of course, you can just drop it over your head. So because this is not, 27 is not enough to go around my head. I have a big head. I had to put a clasp on. Now, I will link to the way to do this clasp. This is my clasp. It's a clasp I invented, and then I went ahead and I made a template. It's an acrylic template. And if you follow that, then you make this every single time. Okay? Now, if you don't have my template, if you choose not to use it, great. Just make your own clasp, okay? All right. You're going to need something to make the domes. This is a paint tray. It's a metal paint tray. And if you can find this, then definitely it's fantastic. I had to bake 4 times on this, 5 times on this to make all of these. I wish I had more paint trays. This is the only metal one I happen to have. And I like it because it's a rather higher dome than my dim sum metal pieces like this. It's kind of shallow. So I like this because it's a higher dome, but it's small, higher dome. Okay, you're gonna need that. Now, you're going to need something to string. I'm using tiger tail. You guys, I mean, that's what we always called it. I don't know, maybe you don't call it tiger tail anymore, but it's woven metal with a plastic coating. It's very, very strong. You're going to need something like this, or this is what I used, okay? Screw eye pins, 2 of them. You're going to need crimps. crimps to secure the tiger tail. And this is what I use. I love these. See these guys in here? Well, it's a crimp, but it has this protruding piece that you push in. And when you push it all the way into the hole, it holds the tiger tail. It's a much nicer finished look. These are round. These are kind of squared off. They work the same. They come in silver, kind of brushed nickel. And of course there's gold. They got all mixed up with these other pieces, but you're going to need some kind of crimp. Regular old crimp does fine too. You're going to need a little bit of glue. I use this Loctite Super Glue Ultra Gel Control. Just a bit of that. And let me think, what else? Oh, you're going to need something in between each of these, which is an O-ring. An O-ring. Okay, and I see I made a mistake. I can't believe I made that mistake. I caught it on this side, but I didn't catch, well, you'll see later in class. Let's see, what can I do about that? What can I do about it? Can I correct it? Okay, so this is just an experiment. Let's see if I can correct it. If I can keep my hands on it. I'm just going to cut one open and see if I can get it in there. If I have enough room to just get it in. Can I get it in? If I could see it, I might be able to get it in, but seeing as how. Okay, I got it in there. No, I wonder if it'll just stay. I'm going to leave it. What's the worst that can happen? I'll check on it later, but I have the feeling that it might not go anywhere. All right, so that is what you're going to need for this little tutorial. I hope you like it. Yeah, if so, let me know. All right, let's start. We have some hollow, lightweight, beautiful colored beads to make. And the necklace. Woohoo! Okay, so what you see before you, are just a bunch of colors I pulled out of my color boxes. And I calculate I'll probably need 18 of my bead, my dome disc bead, dome disc dome sets. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start with, I'm trying to do 3 of each. And sometimes I won't be able to. I'll just have one of these, probably one of these, one of these, one of these. But I think I should end up with enough pieces to put together my necklace. So let me roll these all out into sheets. Now, let me just, let's just do one, because I think one, I show you one, and we'll be set. Okay, so the first thing I have to do, of course, is roll this into a sheet. This is a fun project for sort of cleaning up your color boxes. I have boxes that have just bits and pieces of clay from other projects. And it's kind of nice to be able to use them up in something. So I'm just going to take this guy, fold and roll until, see those white areas? Well, I don't really want those, so I'm going to keep rolling until I do not have them. Now, how thick should I make this? I'm thinking setting number 3, which is a good medium setting, is going to be fine for this. I don't want it too thick. So setting number 3 is actually very good for this project. Now, my domes, I'm cutting my domes using this cutter. Let me see if I can find a ruler to tell you exactly how big it is. How about that? Of course, it's up to you, the size, 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut. Then I'm going to take a center finder, something that will locate the center. I'm going to push down, and I've transferred a mark indicating where the center is. Let me just push that down. Now, each of these is going to be put on my little tray, which is right here behind me. This is a paint tray for mixing paint colors. I'm using the underside of the tray, of course. Now, you're going to take and just push 2 points down, then push a 3rd point down. Then with your fingers, just ease. See that clay where it's up like that? Well, I just want to ease that down. Like so. I'm going to repeat over here, holding 2 points, push down a 3rd, then ease those flaps down. Then lift it, and with your thumb, I cut myself, just pat it down. Now, I have not textured these. I think I probably will, because I don't really want to sand them. Well, we're going to have to sand, you'll see, but I don't want to have to sand the whole dome. So I'm going to take a piece of my dual plex and just texture that side. So you see, like that. I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to make, as I said, where I can, I will make 3. And sometimes I only have a bit of clay, and I will only make 1 or 2. All right, so that is the way it's done. I'm going to start doing these, and I'll be back when they are done. All right, so there are instances where I want more of this color. I want more of this color. So one of the ways you can beef this or increase the volume of that color is by taking something that's like this beige flesh, which is essentially translucent clay with a bit of pigment in it, and I use it to bulk out the clay. So I'll be able to cut more than one slice, so I will take this and mix it in. Now, it does make the clay a bit more translucent. This is a case where it doesn't really matter that much. It will alter the color very, very slightly because of the pigment. Now, you can also use translucent clay. If you have translucent, you can use translucent instead. And of course, translucent has no pigment in it at all. Okay, so let's see about this. That might be a little too much. Let me take this, mix them together. And I should be able to cut more than just one, because I would like more than one. Okay, so I'll mix it in and I'll make my cuts. Hopefully I'll have 2. All right, there they are, 3. And I had some left over. Now, another thing, you can certainly texture the clay when it's flat like this, okay? This has been rolled through setting number 3. If you want to texture it before you cut it, just take your dual plex sponge or any texture sponge you like and roll it together. Roll it and the clay together through the pasta machine, and look, ta-da, much easier. So you can do that too. All right, let me continue. I am going to keep filling this tray. I'm going to have to fill the tray maybe 3 times. There are maybe more. Maybe I'm just going to keep making domes, okay? All right. Okay, so this is my last tray. Whew. So you just want to take them all off. And you have to do one last thing. Well, okay, optional, but I'm going to show you why you might just want to do it. Okay, let's take just any two pieces and put them together. See what happens here? Not very clean, is it? You see kind of the cut, the side of the cut, just not very clean. So let me just pick two out of here, put them together, and you can see there's the comparison. It looks much better. The place where these two domes meet is much neater, much tidier. Again, this is optional. If you decide you don't want to do it, you can just leave it this way, all right? I think it's worth the extra effort. And I'm going to tell you something. This is a very simple project, but I have spent the afternoon making these. Yeah, I have. Okay, this is Abranet P100. You're going to use the coarsest sandpaper you can, where you can still move the piece across. If it's P80, I can hardly budge this. I can't move it across. It's too coarse. Now you have to exercise caution because this sandpaper is very rough. Not only does it sand clay, it sands skin. I was actually bleeding. So be very careful. Now what I'm going to do is just take my fingers, grip the top, and just sand that bottom edge. Okay. Every single one gets sanded. Okay, let's take a look. All right, now see? And here's one that hasn't been sanded. Quite a difference, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Quite a difference. Okay. Now, after you've sanded, you got quite a bit of grit here, polymer grit to clean up. You do. Look at all this all over. It's everywhere. So what I do is I have a bowl of soapy water and I throw it in. And I'm going to be rinsing all of them. First of all, put them all in and then I mush them around like so to try to dislodge any of this sanding, this polymer sanding dust from the surface, particularly the textured surface, okay? Now, after I do all of these, get them all in there, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to rinse everything. Yep. I'm going to rinse them really well because I'd like to get all this polymer dust off. Yeah. Be a little careful. Now, I live in a house on a septic system. I live in the mountains. I live in the country. We're not hooked up to city water or anything. So I'm pretty careful with what I throw down my pipes. I am. So what I probably will do is this. I'm going to rinse everything in this soapy water. Then I'm going to get another bowl with clean water and rinse everything in that. Then I'm going to let this evaporate. I let it evaporate because there's a lot of this grit in that water. You would be amazed, but there's tons of it. And once it evaporates, I can take a damp paper towel and just wipe it out and throw it in the garbage. And that way it doesn't go down my pipes into my septic system. Okay, so you might not be in that situation, but hey, maybe. All right, so let me finish these up. I'll be back. Okay, peeps, it's the next day. What I've done here is I've taken all of them, I cleaned them, and I have sort of paired them off so that when they come together, they'll be like this or like this. Okay. And they are ready to be strung. I'm going to string on tiger tail. Now, of course, there are different ways of stringing these. I'm going to show you a few before we start. Now, what you see here are some small discs, and I rolled the clay through, I think, setting 4. So let me punch a hole in here, like so. So one way of stringing all of these together would be something like this. Now let me punch my holes in my discs. So there's one, and there's another. Okay. So one way is to string them like this. String, then put one of the discs on, then put another, and then so forth like this. And of course, these discs keep the domes apart, so you could make a very nice necklace like this. Okay. There's another way, of course, which is to use a larger disc, something like this. Boom. Now put the second one on. Then another, and you know what, I didn't have 2 black, but I think you can get the picture. So they sit more like this, okay? So they sit even farther apart. Might be fun. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with the original plan, which is to string them like this. Then separate each pair with an O-ring. Like so. Then let's move to the next one. Oh, I have to put holes in. Yeah, I don't have holes that are large enough yet, but you can see what's going to happen here. Okay, so let me punch some holes and string a few on, and let's see what we have then. I'll be back. Okay, so here is one set. I have gone through all the pairs. Okay, so would I change anything? You know what? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I would just make myself crazier trying to make them better. So I'm sticking with what I have so far. Let's do a second round and see where we are then. Okay, here are 2 sets. And I do need a third. This won't go around my neck. It's a little bit short. So I've got enough to do 3 of everything. Except I'm missing one little blue guy there. I am just going to toss in a lavender one. And we're going to do a 3rd set. Okay, I'll be back. All right, peeps. 3 times around. Now let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Boy, was I off. I was really off. 27. So what's 27 times 2? Oh, so it's 54. You need 54 of these just to make it this long. And you know what? This is not long enough to go over my head. It is absolute. I have a big head. And it is, I'm just trying it. Yeah, it is not. So at this point, I have a choice. I can make another 10, maybe, 16 discs. I certainly have enough clay to do that. And then restring, or I have to put a clasp on. And I think I'm going to put a clasp on. Now, what am I going to use? I'm going to use my favorite. Yeah, the usual. The huge. Now, the huge is rather flat, but it isn't totally flat. This one is just hanging around. Look, I have a gray clasp. It's just hanging around. I think I'm going to use it. Now, what I have to do, however, is I have to make a dome for over the top. I could even make a dome over the top and the bottom. I just have to figure out what size dome. This is probably the correct cutter size. So I'm going to make two domes, no holes in them. You know how we measure and we find the center? Don't need to do that this time. So I'm going to make 2 domes. Yeah, I am. And by putting a dome on the front and on the back, then the piece will be more round, which will be perfect with this piece. Because look at how high this is sitting off of your skin. I mean, it's going to be, yeah. This is not a flat piece. I like it though. This is making me very happy. Yeah, look at this. So simple process, but a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of work. Okay, so let me make the domes. We're gonna use this for the clasp. And you know what? I'll put the link to the clasp. But once again, we've gone through this before. You have to use my template. Yeah, I designed this clasp. It is a wonderful clasp, so simple to use. Yeah, super simple to use. And it's also simple to make as long as you have the template. So anyway, I will put it in there, but you might just have to make more, slide it over your head, or make a clasp of your choosing. Okay, so let me make 2 more domes. Okay, so my 2 discs are done, and let's take a look. Very good fit, very good, like this. And I think it's going to be the yellow because the red is right there. So you can never go wrong with red, right? Never go wrong with red. Maybe I'll use the red one, like that. Or maybe I'll use the yellow. Maybe I should have done green. Okay, I'm going to use yellow. Okay, so what I have to do now, scoot this one over. Let me think. Can I put something else on? Nah. No, that's too... I'm not going to overthink this. Okay, so I've got this. But you know what? I've got to flatten the back, just like I did on the other ones, if you recall. So let's just take this P180 and just try to sand the back. Try not to sand myself. I have wounded myself. Wound. Sanding. Like this. Just like this. Yes, I have. Wounds. I'm suffering for my art. Bleeding for my art. Doesn't happen often, but I guess every now and then something happens. let's take a look. Okay, so I think that looks pretty darn good. Let's see what happens when I put it on here. Now, if I sand a little bit more, see how this yellow is hanging over the edge? If I sand a little bit more, I could actually make this fit perfectly, because of course the more I sand, the smaller the diameter at the base becomes. It's just hard to get a grip on the thingy. Yeah, just a little hard. Not too bad, just a bit difficult. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do this one. Just take it, drag it across like that. Well, it's a little smaller. I think that's acceptable. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay. Now I have to affix this little yellow piece to this gray piece, don't I? How am I going to do that? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm going to take some scrap clay, and I think, let me think, how heavy are these? This is very light. This is a little bit heavier, but that doesn't bother me so much. So I think what I'm going to do is fill this with white clay. Do I have, I do actually, technically I do have yellow clay. It's not the same exact yellow, but close. Where are you? Nah. Okay, let's do it. It's not much clay, so I think I'll just use yellow. Okay, so let me take this little mass of clay, roll it into a ball. Oops. Take a bit of liquid clay. Put a bit inside, like this, like so. Now, even if I didn't do this, I don't expect this clay to come out, really. But, you know, it's not a bad habit to get into. There are good habits and there are bad habits. And you know what? This is kind of a good habit to get into. When you have raw clay and cured clay and you want them to stick together, just, you know, add that little bit of liquid or poly paste or some kind of liquid clay that will improve the quality of the bond between the two thingies. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to do at all. Now, I suppose I could have put just a sheet across the back, but for me, I'm always afraid of the collapse, like the collapse of the shape. And if I fill it up, it's not going to collapse, is it? All right, so now I'm going to take my blade and just gently cut. Now, I know this probably freaks some people out, cutting like this. And so if you are worried about it at all, just stand it up and start to cut away that way. Okay, if you stand it up a bit, and it's not the easiest thing to do because you're standing it up on an edge, but hey, it can be done. Like so. Yeah, it wants to get away from me. It does. Just try to hold on to it and kind of shave it away like that. So get rid of some. And then take your fingers and just kind of noodle what's left around to make a reasonably flat piece. Like so. Okay. What is that? What is that? All right, now I'm going to take some liquid clay and I am going to apply it to this whole piece. Just like that. And flip it over, center it on, and push. Push, 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 push. Now, as I'm looking, it seems I have a little bit too much of that yellow. See, I'm not able to really push it down as hard as I might like, which indicates to me that the clay, this clay, is just, there's too much of it. There is too much of this raw clay to push and make it totally flat. I mean, it happens. There, that's better. So I got rid of the excess, and now I can really push it down. Now, if you're at all afraid that perhaps you remove too much, then that's a situation where you might want to use poly paste and fill the space in a bit. Okay, so that looks good to me. That's going to be baked in the oven, but first I am going to put repel gel on this guy. Lots of it. And put it back in so that this part of the clasp doesn't collapse. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so as I was almost putting it in, I realized that this might be the best time to make the back of the clasp look a little better. So I'm going to take this black clay that I've rolled through like setting 5. Does not have to be very thick. I'm going to texture it by rolling it through the pasta machine together with a sponge. Now, because setting 5 is so thin, I'm going to back the machine down to setting 4 instead of 5. And this way, I will get the texture, but I won't be jamming this clay into the sponge. Doesn't much matter when the thickness is much thicker, but when it's thin like this, yeah, it matters. Okay, so let me see if I have a cutter the exact size. I do not. This is close. I'm going to cut. I'm going to brush some liquid on. Let's just take this out for a moment. Put this on like so. Trim the excess away. I think that looks good. Let's put this guy back in, and now I'm going to cure the whole piece. So I've kind of covered up the scrap clay back. Might have a bubble there, so I'm going to take a needle and pierce a bunch of holes. Now I might want to put my signature cane on as well. So let me get that done. Signature cane for life. I think I made these canes. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when, but gosh, they last a very, very long time. And I think I'm going to put my signature cane here, right here. Like so. No, this is going into the oven. I'll be back. All right, peeps. I have to this is a pickup shot because I shot the first part down here. Actually, it wasn't that. I had zoomed in so tight that I forgot to zoom out again. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. So I'm going to ask you to pretend a couple things. I want you to pretend that this is this clasp. Yeah, just pretend. Pretend this is the hook of the clasp. Not the whole thing, just the hook. Okay, so the first thing we have to do to the hook is we have to put a screw eye pin in, don't we? Yeah, we do. We do. Otherwise, we have nothing to attach. Nothing to attach our tiger tail to. We definitely need a screw eye pin. I'm spilling them all over. Okay, so this looks like a good one. Here is my pair. Ta-ta. All right, so first I'm just going to determine where it is. Now, I'm going to put it right there, okay? Ordinarily in the hook it would be in the middle, but look, see that great big old seam? If I put it right there, it's just going to split it open. So I'm going to take and enlarge the little hole that I am going to put that screw eye pin into. Yep, I am. Then I'm going, you know what, that looks like a bad one. I want to show you something. I'm kind of glad this happened so I can show you. Sometimes the screw eye pins are kind of round at the end. So ideally you want something that has more of a point to it. Let's see if I can find a better one. I don't even care about the color. Maybe this one is a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is just going to push it in there. Now, when you do the first side, when you're stringing, this is the easy side. Now, I have shot you will see the more difficult side, but hey, I'm going to show you, I'll show you the easy side now. So what you do is you just screw it in. Do a better job than I did. And once it grips, all you have to do is hold on to the screw and rotate the clasp or rotate the hook, our hook. I know it doesn't look like a hook, but it's a hook. All right, we want this to stay in the clay, so we're just going to put a drop of glue right there on the threads of the screw and continue screwing it in. Like that. Now, if I had gone in the middle, this probably wouldn't have happened. See that light area? That indicates that that screw is too close to the edge. It's not going to happen with this one because it's so much thicker. All right. Ta-ta! Now, we're going to take our tiger tail. Tiger tail. Now, you're to imagine that it's all strung because it's this piece I'm using, right? Yeah, it is. It isn't. It is and it isn't. Okay, let me just see if I can enlarge the hole using my dull needle, like so. I just want it big enough for the tiger tail. I do this against an IKEA cork rivet, which you will see or have seen in the class. I just happen to grab these. So you're going to put them together. And of course I need an O-ring, like so. So let's thread the O-ring on. Now the way crimps are used, you're going to take the crimp and you thread it onto the tiger tail. These are nice crimps. See that little thing that's hanging out? Well, that's what I'm going to grip and I'm going to squeeze. And once it is squeezed flat, that means that it has just smashed the tiger tail in there together. So you're just going to push this all the way up, like so, like that. As I said, this is the easy side. Then you're going to take your pliers and you grip it. So see, my pliers are flat against that protruding part. And now I'm just going to push. And you want it to be flat. Just really flat in there. Okay? It's not the easiest thing to do. Oops. But you're also going to want to make sure you do it in the right place. And I can't move it, which is ideal. But my mistake here was that I did not push it all the way. I'm doing this again. No, I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to show you my mistake. Okay, so when you do that, you just want to make sure you squeeze it when it's right up against that ring, that screw eye pin. Then you're going to thread this through. This is like one of the easiest things to do, and I totally messed it up. Done it before. I have messed it up before. What am I going to do? Maybe I should go for a walk. Okay, then we're just going to put that through the hole. And you can imagine that all the beads are strong, like so. Only this is up there. Okay, now the next part is is the more difficult. Although I made that quite difficult. And that is the other end. Okay, stay tuned. Like so. Like this. And here we go. Crimp. Apologies for my nail. I tried a new nail polish color. I don't like this one either. I should just wear gloves. Okay. I'm going to zoom out some like that. That seems good. Move this around. Send this back through. Send it through that crimp bead as well. And here's where it gets a little bit more difficult. You have to hold the tiger tail and then tighten. And then keep holding the tiger tail and tighten. You see what I'm doing here? I'm trying to hold it close to the crimp and continue tightening because otherwise it gets loose. All right? Like so. Now, I don't always, there's usually a little bit of play when I do this because I can't really totally get in there. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of play that I'm just going to have to live with, like so. All right, but it's actually not too bad. So let's try to feed this through. Oh, I made a mistake. Look, there's no... Oh, I'm glad I saw it now, because if I didn't see it now, then... I forgot to put an O-ring between these two. Bad me. One. Oh, come on, get in. I'm glad I saw that. Okay, wait. Let's take a moment. Let's just take a little bit of a moment here and make sure that I didn't make the same mistake someplace else, and I didn't. It's a good idea to check first. All right, let's do this again. Now, you know what? This time, I think I'm even going to do something a little bit different, because it's just almost impossible to get this cord back through as I did on the other side, isn't it? It's just not that easy because I can't see it. So let me get it through at least one, like so. Now at least I can see it, right? Now let's scoot it down. Hold and pull. Hold one side and pull the loose side. Hold one side and pull the loose side, and it just gets more difficult. Okay, now how are we doing there? Did I manage to make it nice and tight? You know what? That looks good. I don't see any spaces, any large spaces. So I'm going to just do this. Now, pinch. Take your pliers, locate that protrusion, and give it a good squash. Okay. I would have to say that's pretty good. One more squash. Like so. All right. There we go. Did it. Did it. All right, let me get my pliers, my cutters, excuse me. Come on, Dee. Where are your cutters? You just had those nice blue cutters. Oh. They walked over here. Couldn't possibly have been me. All right, so let's just cut right down in there. Let me just cut this guy too. And there is our little color block necklace. It's cute. It's cute. And you know what? Yours is going to look totally different because guess what? You're going to use your colors. Now, I think that this could also be quite a nice necklace. Let's say one white and black, white, black, white, black, white, black. And then maybe make a red clasp, or make them all black and white, and then somewhere in through here, put a red one. And then maybe a bigger red one, right? Use a bigger cutter and make bigger discs. But I love this, and it's just feather weight, very light. It's going to be very easy to wear. Ta-da! Yeah, like it. Okay, I'll be back. All right, my peeps, here we are at the end of this little tutorial. Now, let me say one thing. The actual process of making the discs and the pieces is really quite simple. It's going to be a lot simpler if you happen to have a lot of these little scrap pieces of different colors too. I decided that I wouldn't sort of randomly pick and match things up, and that's why you'll find duplication of this and this one and this one. You know, basically, they might not be identical, but I did choose to pair them off that way. these two, these two, these two. And for me, it just made it a bit easier to arrange them, because it gets difficult if you just have a pile of colors and you just start picking colors. Yeah, well, for me, it's easier to have some sort of system, even as loose as this system is. It made it a bit easier for me to think about the arrangement of the pieces. Now, oops, I dropped my scissors. Okay, so basically the individual pieces were quite easy to make, but time consuming. This took me a bit of time to make all of these and sand them and clean them and do all of that. And the clasp I already had made, but it's going to take you time to do the clasp as well. I would recommend just stringing on tiger tail and using the same kind of finish that we had here with just a crimp and a screw eye pin. So that works for a great variety of clasps. So if you're not going to use this one, I'm sure you'll be able to make another that will work as well. Or you make a lot more of these and then you slide it over your neck, over your head. Yeah, it's another option. Now, these won't lie perfectly every single time. See, sometimes they go off a bit, but that doesn't bother me at all. I happen to like this very much. And I like it because it's very colorful, but I also like it because it's simple. It was not a difficult thing to do. Time consuming, but I am of the mind that pretty much anyone will be able to do it as long as you have something like this and a cutter and clay, and if you want a texture sponge. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I think that there are a lot of things you can do with something like this. Play with color, as I said, black and white. That would be a really great combo. Maybe golds and coppers. Maybe you make metallic ones, or, you know, whatever you happen to like, or something that's like a rainbow. So you've got rainbows going in and out as you build your colors, as you build your arrangement. Okay, so that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And, you know, if you think somebody might like to see it, share it too. All right, kids, thanks a lot. Till we meet again, I'm Donna, and I am signing off.